As we pull up to the corn head, you know, for years we've set combines and we really try to get them set right. We're behind the machine, we're looking at all kinds of things, you know, sieve, you know, concaves, rotor speed, all the things, head speed, all the things that take place all the way behind the corn head. For years we didn't pay much attention, besides we knew we had our deck plates pretty tight. You know, we'd have them closed down in the 1.5 to 2, just whatever the stalk would just go in between them with the hydraulics, and we'd say, well, that's the best we can do. And I challenged Tim and our team, and I said, guys, when we go in the fields, the first field, and we start setting combines, and we back out of the cut, and we go up in the front, the kernels we see in the ground that are coming through this corn head are a real concern to me. And so I said, why are we losing that? So I commissioned Tim and his team, and I said, guys, can you build me technology like Yield Saver, where we have bristles on the gathering chain where we can capture 80% of what's on the ground. And if I can capture 80% of your loss out of your corn head, we're looking at over 1.5 bushels. And you say, well, Greg, that's for guys that harvest really dry corn. No, no, no. My seed harvesting guys, custom harvesters, they run Yield Savers and their 12-row deer heads on their ox bows, and you walk behind those machines with and without at 40% corn, you can't believe the difference on the ground on those ear corn pickers. So what are we talking about? We're talking about, get an ear here. This corn is not what we raised. This is the 76-day stuff that we killed. Don't get all excited. So I can see a guy in the front row like, man, 12 around, that's... So what we're talking about is where we come down and we cushion the ear. As the ear hits the brushes, we cushion the butt. If we don't, if they hit the deck plate, then immediately we start to get butt shelling. And you start to see kernels that are gonna fly off. So we're gonna cushion the butt of the ear, and then we're gonna capture anything that comes loose. So underneath we have chain roll that we're gonna demonstrate out here, and we're gonna talk about residue management. Up above, we got the Yield Savers, and we're gonna show you right now. So Jan's gonna fire up. We'll be running this head at 610 RPM. We got 2 corn tubes above the OEM side, and above this side, let's just watch it. We're looking for 80% savings. We'll raise them up and back them off. Hopefully get some leaves to blow out. We'll have Andy and the team. So what we're looking for to say, can we get an 80% savings by simply putting something as simple as bristles on for that row? So I look at here what we got. I think we're really close. It's something that I like to see. The ROI of this is very, very simple. I mean, this is something that happens whether it's 25% corn or 17% corn. And so those are things you think about. You know, the challenge for you is to say, when do we start harvest? Now this year you might not have a choice. You might start pretty early. And so I'll just tell you, if you do the yield work, 30 to 28% corn is your highest yielding. After that, as you let nature dry it down, mama plant starts to take starch backwards out of the kernel to stay alive. So if you told me you're pretty relaxed in Indiana and you don't start till it's 20 and you like to cut your bulk of your corn at 17, I'm nervous you might own a dryer, you just don't have it sitting on your farm. So those are things you got to test and feel. You can do those tests very easily. Take your Deere combine or Case combine, go out in the field, cut you out some 30 to 31% corn, weigh it, weight, cut it out at 25, weight, cut it out at 20, then at 15, and see the difference in yield. And those are things you can do. We'll get the combines backed around here, and we're going to run them, and we're going to talk about residue management. Gearing off, got yield saver brushes and the chain roll snapping rolls on. So you and I are going to be harvesting corn no matter what. And so we say if we can retrofit a corn head to help us in the next planting season. So what are we talking about? Well, we know, Tim, you can see these are 7-inch pieces. And so the chain roll here on rows 8 through 5, and then again on 8 through 5 in the gearing off, have our chain roll, heads in there. And so what we can do is digest these residue and we open it up. So you look at this large piece, Mike can only come in on the ends. So all your good guys, the herd of bacteria, they try to feed on this, but they can't get anything done. So the minute we start to open these stalks up, and you look at this, you see an entry point here, and it's about 1.5 inches apart. Another tooth mark went in here, and another tooth mark went in here. And so now we have an interesting site, and you look right here, looks like we dropped an M80 down this stalk. Look how this is all exploded open. So now our bacteria starts to work. Different than a Deere chopping head that would cut it off almost flush with the ground, my concern there is residue starts to move. You get wind and all of a sudden you start to snow drift residue. But your only answer then, if you get a 70-mile-an-hour wind and you move residue on 80 acres all to one corner, you got to burn it off. But here we're going to still hang on to this, but we've sized it. Different than confetti heads. So there's a company out there that talks about creating confetti like my silage chopper at the dairy. That's a whole different deal. You and I create confetti out here, even if we rip it and work this ground for next spring corn crop, you understand row cleaners cannot get that confetti out of the true V. If you and I have residue and biomass in with the seed, we're going to create misfires. And so the confetti heads, we usually see anywhere from 1 to 2 less plants per thousandth of an acre. Every ear should be worth 7 bushel to you. So all we're doing is saying we're going to no-till beans into here. And so compared to over here where we have full-length stalks yet, and so we have stalks here, if I can pull them up here and show you, we're going to be able to come in, we've got it on the ground. We're going to let the microbials work on it in a no-till situation. We'll come in here with the bean planter and we're going to have a lot of success. So take a look at these stalk rolls, keep them in the hunt, keep them fresh, and you're going to have a lot better harvesting coming through the machine.